Hello fashion fam, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be teaching you how I made this gorgeous 70-yard skirt from start to finish. If this is your vibe, you definitely want to stick around, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share and drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Now let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do on your pattern paper is to get your waist to your hip measurement. In this case, I took out my band, which is 2 inches, and I came down by 10 inches, which is my hip line. So the full length of this skirt is a 40 inches skirt because it's not up to my ankle. So the next thing we're going to do is to minus 8 inches from our 40 inches, which is the skirt length. The 8 inches is going to serve as the last tier at the end of the dress. So you're going to subtract 8 inches from 40 inches, which leaves us with 32 inches. We're also going to subtract 2 inches from the 32 inches, which is going to serve as our band, just like I said earlier. So that leaves us with 30 inches. So I'm just going to put down the 30 inches on both sides of the pattern paper and connect. So after doing that, we're going to head over to our hip line and connect, and then get our hip circumference. In my case, I'm using a 46 inches hip, and I'm going to be dividing that by 4. So 46 inches divided by 4 gives us 11.5. So I'm just going to put that down on my pattern paper like so. So now for the waist, please note that I'm not using a zipper for the skirt, I'm using a band. So what you're going to do is to put down your hip measurement on your waist, which is 11.5. I'm going to put down that same measurement on the waistline. So now I'm going to come down to our hemline, and I'm going to repeat the same measurement on the hemline. So I'm going to add 11.5 inches on the hemline and extend it by 5 inches. I added 1 inch to my hip measurement for ease. It's an A-line skirt, so I wanted it to be free around the hip, so I didn't put down the exact hip measurement. So after doing all that, I just connected, and then on the bottom we're going to go up by 1.5 inches. This is optional, you don't have to do it, but I just don't like my dress to be sharp at the edge, so I'm just going to come up by 1.5 inches and I'm going to connect with a curve. I added 1 inch on the side seam. This will serve as our seam allowance. And at the center front, you're going to come down by ½ an inch and you connect to your waistline. So now our pattern is ready. We're just going to slash through and transfer to our lining fabric. We're going to use this pattern to cut out both the front and the back piece. Now this is the fabric I'm working with. This is a doll face or bridal satin fabric. You can as well use crepe or any other lining fabric. So I'm just going to pin down my pattern paper to the fabric, and then I'm going to add ½ an inch on the hemline. That will serve as our seam allowance to join the ruffle on the bottom to the skirt. Now on the back piece, you're just going to take out 1 inch for the center back allowance. We're not going to be using a zipper. This 1 inch is going to serve as the joining allowance for the back piece. Now on the hemline, we're going to take out ½ inch for the hemming allowance. On the waist, you're going to come up by 1 inch. If you remember, we took out ½ inch from the front pattern, but on the back, you're going to go up by 1 inch and then connect to your waistline. So I went over to my sewing machine and I joined the front piece and the back piece, and I serged it with my overlocking machine. And next step will be to divide the tiers. Okay, length on our pattern paper is 30 inches, and I'm just going to divide the layers into 7. Don't forget that we have the bottom layer, which is about 8 inches. We're just going to divide the 30 inches by 7, which is 4.2, and then you're going to mark that down. Please note that it is very important to mark the measurements down. This will make it easy for you when you're about to attach it to the lining piece. This is the fabric we're working with. This is Adire. So we're going to cut out the strips, which is the ruffles for the dress. Now, to get the width of the ruffle, you're going to measure the width of each tier. Now, you see the line we marked on the lining piece. You're going to measure the width. Now, whatever you get on each tier, you times that by 2.5 or 2 inches. I wanted 2.5 inches because I wanted the ruffles to be very full. So after cutting your ruffles, you're just going to head over to your sewing machine and hem the edges. You don't want it looking rough, so you're just going to hem it or you serge it, whichever one. After doing that, you're just going to gather all your pieces. Remember the 8 inches we cut for the bottom of the skirt, the last flare? Yes, you're just going to attach that first. So the first thing I did was to pin it down, so it's easier for me when I want to sew. And I didn't just pin it down, I also went ahead to iron it. This is optional. It's just easier for me when I do this. So I pinned it down to the end and I went in with my iron to iron it down. So I've just gone ahead to attach my ruffle to my skirt, and you can see it's already looking very nice. So I'm just going to do the same to the others, but this time around I'm not going to gather it. I'm just going to pleat it with 1 inch. So you see how I'm pleating it. I'm sewing directly on the line. I didn't fold, I just placed it right on top of the fabric, which is our lining piece, and then I just stitched it down. If you have any excess remaining, just trim it off. So at this point, I was done attaching all the ruffles to my skirt, and this is what the inner of the skirt looks like, and this is the front of the skirt, and oh my god, you can see how beautiful it's already looking. So the next thing is for us to cut our band for the skirt. So I'll be using a 6 inches band, 2.5 actually, but then I added half an inch for the seam allowance. That makes it 6 inches or 3 inches on fold. So I went ahead to iron it. Yeah, make sure you iron it first, and then I'm going to pin it down first to my skirt before attaching it on the sewing machine. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine right now and attach everything, and then I'll come back with the final result. So this is what the inside of our skirt is looking like right now. I already went ahead to attach my band, and I stitched the center back with 1 inch, and I'm just going to trim off the excess right now at the back. And after doing that, I'm just going to head over to my overlocking machine to serge the back so it's looking all nice and neat. So at this point, we're done with the skirt. Look at how beautiful and chic it looks. I just went in to attach my elastic band into the band of the skirt, which is on the waist. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my next tutorial. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.